beautiful soul family. I hope you are doing well today. It is so wonderful to have you back here visiting Rising One coaching channel. I'm Allison, your health and wellness coach, and this week we are talking about one of my favorite topics, something I have learned to trust and use on a daily basis, which is intuition. So I have a question for you. Have you ever just known something just deep inside without really understanding where it came from? Maybe you meet somebody and you felt like you could trust them, or you met somebody and you felt like you couldn't trust them. That's happened to me before. Maybe you've had a feeling to take a different route home, and then you ended up finding out that you avoided traffic delays or even an accident. Well, that inner nudge that leads us down a better path, that's our intuition. And the truth is, we all have it. We're born with it. It's just like our inner GPS system. And it's that silent language that we're born speaking, but most of us aren't taught how to listen to it. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today and how we can strengthen our intuition. So, like I said before, intuition is our inner guidance system. It's not logical. That's the language of the mind. And it's not totally pure emotion, which is the language of the heart. Intuition goes way deeper, and it's our soul speaking to us, often without words. It might come as a gut feeling, as a sense of just knowing, some messages in dreams, or synchronicities that seem too perfect to ignore. I love when those happen. Those are my favorite. So let's talk a minute why intuition, why it matters, why it's important. Well, when we start to trust this inner voice, things start to shift for us for the better. Our decisions start to feel clearer. Life just seems to flow with more ease and less resistance. And we spend a lot less time doubting and more time living in alignment, which is an amazing place to be. And it doesn't mean that life gets perfect, but it does mean that we feel more guided, like we're walking with an inner compass that's always pointing us in the right direction. And isn't that a wonderful thing? So let's talk for a moment about the mind, body, soul connection, because it all ties together. So our mind, when we're overthinking too much, that drowns out our intuition. It's the noise that's in our head that makes it harder to hear that whisper, because intuition usually talks to us in more of a whisper. Our body receives intuition physically. It might be a gut feeling, full body chills. I tend to get chills up and down my arms. Sometimes I get full body, but a lot of times it's just in my arms. That's where it seems to come through. You might feel warmth in certain areas, like I tend to feel warmth in my hands, or you might even feel tension, like something is off. And then on a soul level, this is the core. This is our intuition's way of steering us in the right direction. It's our higher self saying, come this way. So really heightening that and learning to listen to it more is going to lead us down a much happier life path. So when the mind starts to get loud, that means our minds are overthinking, and that overthinking is a form of self-protection. The mind thinks to itself, if I analyze things from every single angle, I can stay safe. And we've all been in those thought patterns before. But ironically, that constant thinking, it creates more anxiety instead of less anxiety. So the key isn't to just turn off the mind. That's impossible. But the key is to soothe the mind so that it steps aside and makes space for our intuition to speak. So here are some really great ways to soothe and calm your mind so that you can let your intuition shine through. Breath work is a great one. I use a lot of breath work throughout my days. So slow, intentional breathing tells the nervous system that it's safe. So you might want to try inhaling for a count of 4, hold it for about 2 seconds, and then exhale for a count of 6. And that longer exhale really helps to calm the mind and the body, and really lets that intuition have a space to come through and really speak to us in a meaningful way. Meditation and stillness, and I know this can be such a tricky one, but I highly recommend it. It has been such a game changer for me. Even if you can take 5 minutes to sit in stillness, quiet your thoughts, it's amazing what can start coming through with your intuition when you quiet your mind. You can focus on a mantra. Sometimes that's helpful. Something like, I am here now. And that can really help to start anchoring you. And the more you practice this, the better it gets. So just stick with it. I promise it gets better and better. It's amazing. Another one that's incredible is nature. If you can get out and take walks in nature, it really helps to shift our brain waves into a much calmer state of mind. The chatter starts to quiet, and the intuitive nudges start to feel a little bit louder and more noticeable. It's amazing what happens when we get into more of a natural setting. It's why I love to come out into my backyard every morning and usually every evening. It's such a relaxing, soothing place for me to spend time. Journaling is another great one. It's kind of like your brain just dumping all that clutter out, and that process of taking stuff from your mind and physically transferring it to paper really gives it a physical release and helps to clear and get that out. So I really encourage you to try journaling, and it could just be brain dumping. You don't even have to have anything specific. You can just stream of thought, write. So writing everything that your mind might be worried about is something you could do if you're looking for a little bit of guidance. And then you can ask yourself afterwards, beneath all of this, what feels true for me? So I always love having those really reflective questions. Body movement is so good, you guys. Some gentle yoga, some walking, stretching, even getting out and dancing and just like shaking it out gets a lot of that stuck anxious energy, nervousness out of our bodies, out of our heads, and then we can get into more of a flow. I mean, I enjoy dancing. I'm not a great dancer, but I enjoy dancing, and it's just such a fun, playful way to just get it out. So I highly encourage finding some movement that you really enjoy. Bike riding, kayaking, whatever it might be. So many wonderful options. And once our body relaxes, then our intuition can begin talking to us. It's beautiful. So here's a little mini practice I call the 2 voices. Just takes about 2 or 3 minutes. So let's try this together. Close your eyes and take a nice deep breath. And just bring to mind a small question that you've been overthinking lately. Just take a moment and bring that to the surface of your mind. And now listen for 2 different voices. You have your mind's voice, and notice the tone of your mind's voice. It might feel busy, urgent, logical, maybe even fear-based. That's usually a pretty good indicator that that's your mind taking over. And now shift that and listen to that deeper intuitive voice, that knowingness. Notice how it feels different. Usually, almost 100% of the time, the intuitive voice is going to be calmer, more quiet, and more neutral. It doesn't argue, it just is. So take a breath. And which voice feels expansive and peaceful? Pretty sure you're gonna know the answer to that one. That's gonna be your intuition. And then which voice feels anxious or noisy? That's the mind. So when you practice this several times, it really helps to develop that differentiation between which is mind and which is intuition. And then you can start tapping into that intuitive guidance. Trust it. It is there for you. It is leading you down the right path. And it really helps you to sort of like tell them apart. So a couple other ways that you can strengthen your intuition is to do a body check-in. And that would be, here's how it would play out. Before you make a decision, pause, and ask your body, does this feel expansive or constrictive? Huge difference. And if it feels expansive and open and exciting, that's a huge yes. That's your intuition leading you down the right path. If it feels tight, heavy, that usually means a no. That's a pretty big, red stop sign. Another one is a first thought practice. So when you face a choice, notice that very first inner response. Before your mind jumps in and starts to justify everything with logical thinking, that first flash is usually your intuition. So that's a really good indicator. And synchronicity journal. These are great. I love doing this kind of stuff because I see synchronicities all day long. I just saw 1111 on the timestamp. Keeping track of repeating numbers, dreams that you're having are really important. I've been having incredibly vivid dreams like the last few weeks. Think about symbols that you've been seeing that are repeating, or even coincidences, which I don't believe in coincidences, but so those are some things that, this is Spirit, God, the universe's way of leaving us little breadcrumbs. And that's our intuition speaking in patterns. So this week, I invite you to notice the whispers. Don't dismiss them. Don't push them away. Really pay attention to all these different things that are coming into your experience. Write them down so that you can see them tangibly and recognize them. And act on just one of them, even if it feels small. See how it unfolds. Intuition is like a muscle. The more you trust it, the stronger it's going to grow. And your soul already knows the way. All you have to do is learn to listen. So I thank you so much for showing up today and enjoying this time with me talking about intuition. Such an amazing topic. We're going to be talking about intuition and our body on Wednesday. So don't miss Wednesday's episode. I can't wait to see you there. I would love to hear from you guys. Let me know what ways your intuition talks to you. Do you see signs? Do you see synchronicities? Do you get visions? Repeating songs, all sorts of so many amazing ways that Spirit speaks to us. So I'd love to hear from you and hear how intuition shows up in your life. Thank you so much for showing up today. I hope you have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are. Blessings.